What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys had a great week on the market. It has been very tricky for us, actually, to be honest. And I'm going to dive into a few things today. I want to touch on the week and how it's been so far with me, the trading stats, the calendar, all of it, payouts, talking about a little bit of the option success. And I specifically want to talk about the New York action today. If this is your first time watching my videos, please drop a like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'm going to get right into this. Now, I know I've been a little slow this week when it comes to posting videos because I have been very much under the weather while still having to tough it through and still work on business and as well as the mentorship classes that I've held this week, all while dealing with a gas leak at home. So it hasn't been an easy week to be perfectly honest, but I'm hoping to at least get this video out there just to kind of capture the week overall. So overall, just starting off here with the futures here, we're about $41,000 from a P&L execution perspective. Again, I hope for the new followers, this is not payout. This is just the P&L. These are for all my sim funded accounts that I currently trade with, at about an 83% win rate. Throughout the week, I've kind of ranged between like 77 to like 85, kind of gone up and down just based on the given period of time. So overall, still a very solid month, to be perfectly honest. Again, less trades this time around than compared to what I was taking in terms of last year. Obviously last year I was focusing a lot more on building reps, figuring out my edge. And so, now that I've really kind of refined what I like and what I don't like, I'm trading less this year. But when I do take my trades that I take, I'm sizing a little higher or I'm holding for a little longer. It really kind of just depends on the setup. Overall, you can kind of see here, I do day trade. I don't scalp. And it's not to say that scalping is bad, but although I do generally go for 1 to 2 R maximum for a lot of my trades, occasionally when those really good trades come up where I can have the opportunity to hold for longer, I'll hold it for longer, which is kind of what adds up to the average 33-minute hold time for the trades that I have. Especially sometimes over Asia, I've shown in videos that I posted in the past, like one trade can take 2 hours sometime, and you're not even getting a lot out of it. It's just very slow markets, right? So definitely teaches you to kind of think differently when you're trading the markets overall. When it comes to the trading calendar, this is essentially how my month has been. You can see if you've been following along, you'll know that in the past I've had days where, like, on average I'd be double digits, right? Like 11 to 20 trades a day. Now that doesn't actually mean I'm taking 20 trades. I want to be very clear as well for those who are new checking this out. The trades sometimes will base on when I enter, when I exit, that's 2 trades. And depending on if the contracts get trimmed, it counts as another trade as well. Future trader stats, evolution will probably wean this out so that it shows more clearly in that regard. So when it says I took 12 trades yesterday and Thursday, I didn't actually take 12 trades. I actually traded 6 of my props accounts. That's just the entry and exit for those accounts. Thursday was my strongest day, and it wasn't because of the New York session. I actually just managed to catch a really strong short trade over the course of London, which kind of played into the results that I achieved. I took 1 trade over the New York over futures. It was a long trade. It was going well for me, and then literally got wiped like right afterwards. And so when I say wipe, it wasn't like that bad. It respected my stop loss, but it was like, it looked like we were getting some really good momentum, and then within like 2 4-minute candles, it like hit my stop loss right afterwards, right? So nevertheless, like I say, I often don't, it's not that losing days are impossible, but usually I have Asia and London make it up. But in this case, on Friday, if I lose on Friday, then it's a loss on Friday. I don't have an Asia session or London session to kind of make up for it, right? So, but overall, I'm very happy with my execution. If we take a look at the payouts as well, over the course of this week, the ones that have already hit the accounts, I had 3 payouts from Lucid Trading, as you can see here. My top step one I actually requested on Monday. I finally just got it. I don't know what's going on with them, but they've been very slow when it comes to payouts. So I have this. I actually have also requested another Lucid payout already, and I don't have the certificate just yet, but that's coming up soon. And then also my take profit trader, I've also requested for that. So I'm also waiting on that one to come in. So overall, a pretty solid week when it comes to profit payouts, as you guys saw. Total, like with just what's here, not including what's pending, this is about 13,500. So pretty solid, all things considered. On the options end, that's been going pretty well for me as well. It looks like based on how February's going, I'm likely going to beat January. So if you've seen my recap in January, you'll kind of know how I did there. But we're pacing really well. We'll close out another week about 5 figures, like $10,000 in options. So yeah, pretty good week, all things considered. I'm going to flip over to the chart now. So give me 1 second here, just so that we can talk about the charts. All right. So New York session. You know what? Today was a little bit of a tricky day. I say it's a tricky day because it was a very slow grind up. I was bearish to be perfectly honest, although I was not a test to seeing a retracement up. The action was very, very slow. I think one of the things that would probably be have been the best way to look at price after the first couple hours had closed was really paying attention to the larger time frames. And so there's two things I'll touch on. Like the first trade I took, I shorted on options down here. I trimmed more than like 70% of my contracts for 60% on this move down. And then I closed off the remaining for break even. And then I tried another trade on futures for longs. And this is the one I was talking about where like things were moving up really, really nicely. And then we got yanked down. I hit my stop loss here actually. So unfortunate. I didn't want to move my stop loss any lower than I had because the average candles were quite wide today. And so yeah, I think I got stopped out by this candle right here, which is very unfortunate because obviously we did end up going back up after the fact, but it is what it is, right? That's actually what caused basically gave me the negative $1,600 days on futures for today. If you take a look at the overarching day though, it was moving up all day. If you were watching these 2 minute candles, you probably would have constantly want to like fight the trend, thinking like it's gonna short, it's gonna short, it's gonna short. And this is where honestly I think a lot of people, when they try to short the trend, they get wrecked, right? And that's the reason why the terminology of the trend is your friend is important. If you actually take a look at the 15-minute time frame, it was pretty clear actually. Like it never really gave us any indication of weakness. Yeah, we had a lot of wicks up and down, but we were just full green steam ahead, right? So anyone who caught the longs and held the longs, congratulations, solid trade. But after I got stopped out on futures, I kind of walked away. While kind of multitasking with work and what have you, something I mentioned to one of the students in my Discord was they were asking me what were the chances of us coming all the way back down to the open. I said I don't know. I try not to speculate that too much because that's not ideal. And that question was asked when price was about right here, right? And I said, honestly, what I would love to see is I would love to see a double top and a lower high. And then maybe I would be interested in shorts. And so we did luckily manage to get that. So we have the 2 minute time frame on the left-hand side and the 5 minute time frame on the right-hand side. What you can kind of see here right now, and I'll use some illustrative things to highlight this. We had our double top here, which was good. And then we had our lower high locked in here with that nice 5 minute engulfing candle. One of the comments that I made in the chat was I really want to see us break below this channel though, because I wanted us to lose structure. Although yes, we're putting in the lower high, we haven't actually set new lower lows yet, right? So it was pretty much after we started closing beneath here, as we had the 9 EMA cross and we were closing beneath the channel. That is essentially when I entered my shorts. They were QQQ 604 puts, 0 date expirations at a fill about 0.96. And pretty much I rode that all the way down. I trimmed half my contracts for 61%. So I'm just looking at my Discord here just so I can make sure I'm providing the right information. Yeah, I closed at 61%. And then I closed off my last contracts around here for about 100%. Right? So overall was really happy with that. And the big reason why I closed off here was because I didn't really want to fight against the Globex opening print. It obviously did continue further, which is great. I mean, the price was respecting it. We held beneath the 200 EMA, we held beneath the Globex, and we kind of continued to push down all the way back to the New York opening. So it did end up retracing that entire move over the course of the day, all within the last hour and a half, right? And so anyways, overall, really nice short to close off the week. I was really happy with the execution overall. I'll flip over the FF indicator as well, just to kind of chat a little bit about this, as questions always get asked about how to execute and what have you. What I really liked here is that you can see that double top that I was referring to and then the lower high that we had set in. You can see that after that lower high, it pushed us beneath the 2 minute trigger line, and we essentially held beneath the 2 minute trigger line. So that was indication kind of number one. And then when we talk about break of structure on the 5 minute time frame, this is where it looked really good as well. When we closed beneath the 5 minute trigger, we held beneath the 5 minute trigger. So basically after this bar at 11:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time would have been the ideal entry point if you're using the FF indicator on the 5 minute time frame, because you're holding beneath the 2 minute trigger and you're having you're closing beneath the 5-minute trigger as well, and you're having a strong bearish reaction. And at that point in time, the trend cloud and everything was actually showing very bearish for us. So giving that extra confluence and conviction to take the short trade. So anyways, that's just kind of like the overall update on the week. It's been ranging, honestly. It's been a very ranging market this week. Or I should say, these past few months have been ranging, right? So I'm just going to flip this to the daily time frame just to kind of talk about this a little bit, right? Like, we are in this box range, and it's been a very long time. If you take a look at the prior periods in time, it's been a long time since we've ranged like this, right? Like, this is the longest period of time. The closest thing in mimicking would have been this that we had back here. But other than that, this is a long period of daily range. So yeah, ideally, based on the way the candles are forming, I'd like to see us to get lower. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if economically we have it in us to really sink that much lower. I would be kind of looking for us to kind of double bottom down here and maybe work our way back up into setting all-time highs later on throughout the year. Again, I try not to speculate too much. I let the chart tell me what it's doing, and I'll trade the chart. But yeah, that's kind of my perspective on the chart and the overall week. Hopefully you guys trade safe. Take the time to take some journal notes if you haven't. I mean, I do that every week. Journal, take a look at your trades, what worked, what didn't work, what could you have done better. If you're serious about this craft, treat it like as such. One of the things I talked about in one of my free webinars that I hosted about business and planning and goal setting just about a little over a month ago, I talked about is that if you want business level results, you got to make sure that you don't have hobby level execution. So if you want to take this seriously, got to put your hard work and effort into this. With that, have a great weekend, guys.